Elon Musk made his debut into politics in dramatic fashion this past week, throwing the government into turmoil and sparking widespread misinformation. At the center of this controversy is the Republican claim that Democrats could have passed pediatric cancer research funding without opposition, a claim that doesn't stand up to scrutiny. Here's the truth about what happened. The government narrowly avoided a shutdown after last-minute negotiations. Initially, Democrats and Republicans agreed on a continuing resolution, CR, to keep the government funded. This was standard practice until Elon Musk intervened with a 20-hour pressure campaign that derailed the original bipartisan CR. Musk's motivation? Likely a desire for attention and power, with a need to demonstrate his influence. Surprisingly, former President Donald Trump was willing to cede the spotlight to Musk, showing just how much influence Musk's $400 billion fortune can buy. Musk's interference led Republicans to scramble and introduce a new bill with significant cuts to critical programs. Among the casualties were provisions for pediatric cancer research funding. The Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act 2.0, which would have allocated 7 more years of funding for pediatric cancer research, was removed from the CR. Additionally, other vital healthcare programs were stripped, including the Give Kids a Chance Act, provides studies of new cancer drugs for children. Innovations in Pediatric Drugs Act penalizes drug companies for failing to complete required pediatric studies. Accelerating Access to Care Act simplifies out-of-state treatment for medically complex kids on Medicaid. The Support Act promotes opioid recovery and treatment. Pharmacy Benefit Managers, PBMs, reforms prevents middlemen from driving up drug prices. Elon Musk celebrated the slimmed-down version of the bill, effectively stripping healthcare funding from kids with cancer. Without Musk's intervention, these provisions, including pediatric cancer research funding, would have remained intact. Musk's actions directly resulted in these cuts, drawing sharp criticism across the political spectrum. Senator Brian Schatz, who later commented on the issue, summarized the situation by calling out Republicans for punishing children with cancer to fund tax cuts for wealthy corporations. MSNBC's Chris Hayes echoed this sentiment, highlighting that $190 million meant for childhood cancer research was gutted due to Musk's demands. While Musk may not have explicitly ordered these cuts, his advocacy for cuts and celebration of the final outcome made him a central figure in the controversy. In response, Musk's defenders and right-wing pundits claimed that Democrats could have passed the Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act 2.0 earlier in the year when the House initially approved it. They argued that the Democrat-controlled Senate should have brought the bill to a vote sooner. While this claim may sound logical, it overlooks the procedural realities of the Senate. Passing legislation in the Senate often requires unanimous consent to avoid lengthy debates. Even one objection can block a bill, forcing it to take up valuable floor time that Democrats prioritized for confirming judges. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and others emphasized the importance of using floor time effectively, particularly in confirming 235 judges, one more than Trump achieved in his first term. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse explained that floor time is one of the most precious resources in the Senate. Given this constraint, Democrats strategically plan to include the pediatric cancer research funding in the year-end omnibus bill, a common practice to address bipartisan priorities without dedicating weeks of debate to uncontroversial measures. However, Republican Senator Rand Paul blocked the Gabriella Miller Act from passing via unanimous consent earlier in the year. This obstruction left Democrats with no choice but to package it into the CR, where it was ultimately stripped due to Musk's influence. Republicans' argument that Democrats could have passed the bill sooner ignores the procedural complexities of the Senate and the deliberate obstruction by figures like Rand Paul. Instead, Democrats acted pragmatically, ensuring the bill would be included in the CR to guarantee its passage without wasting valuable legislative time. Fortunately, after Musk's interference caused its removal, the Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act 2.0 was later passed as a standalone bill. This was only possible after Democratic Senator Tim Kaine convinced Rand Paul to drop his objection, underscoring the role Democrats played in ultimately securing the funding. The broader implications of Musk's political debut are troubling. His actions reveal the dangers of an unelected billionaire wielding outsized influence over government decisions. Musk's prioritization of spending cuts over healthcare funding for children with cancer demonstrates how far Republicans are willing to go to appease their donors and influential figures. This episode also exposes Republican hypocrisy. While claiming to be pro-life, their willingness to strip funding for pediatric cancer research contradicts their rhetoric. It serves as yet another example of their prioritization of wealthy interests over vulnerable children. Beyond the immediate controversy, this incident highlights the challenges Democrats face in messaging. Senator Schatz emphasized the need for Democrats to speak more plainly and directly to voters. Poll-driven language often dilutes messages, making them less impactful. Schatz argued that Democrats must balance clarity with inclusivity, ensuring they connect with everyday people without alienating their diverse base. David Hogg, co-founder of March for Our Lives and candidate for DNC vice chair, echoed similar concerns. He emphasized the importance of authenticity and speaking from personal experience, especially when addressing younger voters. Hogg acknowledged the Democratic Party's struggle with its aging leadership and stressed the need for younger voices to shape the party's future. Hogg's candidacy highlights the tension between establishment Democrats and younger activists pushing for change. He argued that Democrats must prioritize working-class issues, listen to voters outside traditional blue states, and move beyond scripted talking points. Hogg's grassroots approach reflects the broader call for Democrats to re-engage with disaffected voters through genuine conversations and bold policies. In conclusion, Elon Musk's first foray into politics revealed the dangers of allowing billionaires to dictate legislative priorities. His influence led to the removal of critical healthcare provisions, forcing Democrats to scramble to restore funding for pediatric cancer research. The episode underscores the need for Democrats to improve their messaging, embrace younger voices, and remain focused on delivering results for working-class Americans. With leaders like Hogg and Schatz advocating for change, the Democratic Party has an opportunity to rebuild trust and counter the influence of figures like Musk.